truce.
Right. We want to figure out how this truce, if you can call it that, actually happened.
And what it means, for the relationship between big tech and government. It's pretty significant, what do you say?
Absolutely, because you really need to remember the history here. It wasn't friendly.
Not at all. Trump constantly went after Amazon. Accusations about taxes, using the Postal Service
I would say fleeing competition. And don't forget the impacts on the Washington Post.
Which Bezos owns, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of tension there. A backdrop of serious conflict.
So what caused this sudden shift, this agreement?
It boiled down to tariffs, specifically the ones from the trade disputes, like with China.
Okay.
The White House started raising concerns. They felt Amazon's pricing wasn't transparent enough about how these tariffs affected the final cost.
So the worry was that consumers weren't seeing the full picture, that they might be misled.
Precisely. And that kind of defeats the purpose of tariffs, right? Which is partly to encourage buying domestic goods.
Undermining the policy's intent. So Amazon was under pressure. How did Bezos and the company respond?
Well, this is where it gets strategic. Amazon apparently revamped its labeling system.
To make the tariff impact clearer.
That seems to be the idea. Make it more obvious when tariffs were part of the price. We don't have all the exact details of how they did it.
But they addressed the criticism directly. A proactive move, really.
Yeah.
Calculated.
And here's the kicker. Trump actually praised Bezos publicly.
Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly. And he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
Nothing more.
Well, it looks like a pragmatic win for both sides, actually.
How so?
For Amazon, taking action like this probably helped them dodge potentially tougher regulatory heat. Maybe investigations or new rules down the line.
Okay, a way to manage risk. And for Trump.
It gave him something concrete. A win he could point to on consumer protection, showing his tariffs policy was being, respected or at least acknowledged transparently.
So practical benefits all around, despite the history. What does this tell us about the bigger picture? Corporate government relations, especially with tech.
It could signal a shift, maybe.
Yeah.
We might see tech companies using these kinds of targeted concessions more often when they face political pressure.
Instead of fighting everything.
Exactly. Instead of fighting tooth and nail on every single issue, maybe address specific government concerns directly to avoid broader conflict.
So Amazon's quick action here, could that set a kind of precedent for dealing with other tricky areas?
It's possible. Think about things like antitrust, data privacy, even labor issues. This approach addressing a specific complaint might become a go-to tactic.
Interesting. A sort of strategic compromise. I read that regulatory analyst Laura Chen called it a tactical retreat, not really a ceasefire.
That sounds about right. It solves one specific problem, but the underlying tensions, antitrust, taxes, those aren't going away.
Right. Those big issues are likely still simmering.
To a great state that we won very big, Michigan, and we're going to have an Air Force base that's not going to be closing. We're going to keep it open for the people of Michigan and for our country. And I look forward to that some of you are going and some of you aren't. Any questions? Great. Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly, and he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
What was your president? Have you given the president publicly or fee? Is there an update on negotiations with China?
No, not an update. No, not an update.
Mr. President, Gordon Conrad from the Gateway Pundit. I wanted to get your response on the leftist media. They're trying to hide the mugshots that are featured on the front lawn of rapists, murderers, pedophiles. What do you think of that? Aren't they proving to be the enemy of the people?
Well, I guess they are. I guess they are, right? Thank you. Who
Mr.
you with?
President, I like your hat, by the way.
Who you with?
The Gateway Pundit, sir.
Mr. President, sir,
Mr. President, sir.